Thank you, Mrs. Coleman.
Who's that calling in that big motor car? Oh, he didn't get that free with a year's subscription to Daily Mail. Excuse me. Excuse me. Are you on the phone? Oh, well, yes.
Good morning.
Is there anything I can get you?
It's just the dust under the press.
My dear fellow, you should take care. You sure you're getting the best medical advice?
The best medical advice would pack me off to a sanatorium in Switzerland. And what would I do there, even if I could afford it, which I can't? Yeah. I'm a lot better than I was 4 years ago. Sea air, permanent light duty. They work wonders.
All the same.
What can I do for you?
I was passing. I thought I'd have a word with you about next week's Highways and Bridges meeting. You will be there.
I've every intention.
It's vitally important that we muster all our support.
I'm as concerned as you are. I shan't let you down. Can I get you a cup of tea, or would you like to go into the house?
No. I mustn't keep you. Does it pay its way, if you don't mind my asking?
It doesn't make the kind of profit you'd call a good return on investment, but that is not its purpose.
No.
It gives a movement, a cheap form of printing in this part of the country, and allows them to pension off people like me who are no longer fit for more important work in the field.
You don't regard the work here in this field as important enough?
We treat the symptoms here, not the disease.
I'm afraid that's too political for me. All I understand is a chap getting on, and then using his power to get things done.
Are you expecting serious trouble at the meeting?
Oh, I wouldn't go so far as that, but rumours are getting round about the new road, and certain people south of the railway line seem to be worried.
Without the road, we don't get the Leam Ferry West development. And that is more important than the welfare of a few small holders who shouldn't be where they are in the first place.
Oh, I couldn't agree more, but those Cold Harbour people have a loud voice and a potential champion.
In Cannes.
In Cannes.
No money, they say. Times are hard for everyone, they say. Well, I'm glad to see you're holding your budget steady, Miss Parsons, because I need all the leverage I can to persuade them to improve the school buildings. I've wheedled, I've flattered, I've done practically everything except quarrel, which I hope won't be necessary. I've seen nearly all the governors, except Mitch Carn's father, who hasn't been near the place.
Oh, I shouldn't think you'd get very far with him.
No?
Well, perhaps I oughtn't to say anything, but I got it from Cissy Tadman, who heard it from her mother, who was told it by Mr. Tadman after the interviews for the headmistressship.
Yes?
Well, if what they say is true, and of course it may all be a misunderstanding, it seems that Mr. Carn was the only governor to oppose your appointment.
Oh.
I shouldn't have told you.
I see. Well, 4 in favour and 1 against. I suppose appointments have been made on a narrower margin. Oh, Oh, dear. Well, thank you. And thank you, Miss Parsons. Forgive me for grumbling. It's not everyone I could let hear me.
I quite understand. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you. You too.
I wouldn't go, Mr. Astle. I wouldn't really. This wind's fit to skin you. And it's not as if you held with them voluntary hospitals.
But I did promise.
What did you say it was? A bazaar?
A sale of work was how they described it.
Aye, and you going out of this wind into a hot room and then coming home again in it. I've no patience. You go and kill yourself before you're finished, and then maybe you'll be satisfied. But I've nursed one man with pneumonia and TB, and I've no desire to bury another.
I feel quite well, Mrs. Connor. And I promise you, I'll wrap up warm.
Oh, you don't have to promise me anything. It's nothing to do with me. Well, you better come and be getting your dinner if you're going, or else you'll miss your bus.
There are those of us who believe that in a responsibly organized society, there would be no need for hospitals run on the voluntary raising of funds. Sorry. But since we don't yet live in that kind of society, we must work as best we can with the means available to us. And so, with a final plea to you all to spend as generously as you can, I have pleasure in declaring the sale of work open.
To Alderman Astor. While I believe with Alderman Astor that there are always ways of making society more humane, I think we should be wrong to overlook two basic requirements for individual fulfillment. One is the desire for self-help, the other the great satisfaction to be found in the exercise of Christian charity. And now, if I could just remind you that refreshments will shortly be on sale at a modest charge. That concludes the formal part of the proceedings. Thank you for coming, Astle. It really is good of you to turn out on such a raw day. Come down, we'll find you a cup of tea.
Thank you.